Hi, this is part 3 in my virtual band tutorial. We'll be discussing in this video how to align the audio and how to edit all of the audio for your virtual band. The software I'll be using primarily is Adobe Premiere. So if you don't have access to Adobe Premiere, then after watching this video, you'll need to search YouTube for tutorials about how to use other software that you might be able to use, such as Final Cut Pro. Now my project has multiple scenes, so in this video I'll be showing how I edit just one small scene. And then in my final part 4 video, I'll show you how I combine those scenes together into one final video. Now in the description below, I will have a list like this of the different topics covered in this video. So if you'd like to skip to a certain part of the video, you're welcome to do that. This video series is sponsored by Ningenious Music, which is the greatest music education app out there. Your students will love it, and you'll love seeing the progress they make in their knowledge and their musical skills. Let me go to Premiere. We're going to start by making a new project here, and I'll name it Wash Up. Let's see, let's do Heart 1. This is You'll Be in My Heart from Tarzan. Okay, now your windows may end up looking different for you than they do for me. So in Premiere, I've got 4 windows right now. You can adjust these. This is where I'm going to drop my media right down here. So I'm going to go here and click on Wash Up here, and we're going to do Heart 1 right here. So let me grab all my heart scenes. Now, Premiere will automatically decide what size and shape to make your video based on the first video you drop in. So I'm going to pick one here that's landscape. Let me drop this one in there first and drag this over here into the timeline. Okay, so that'll set up my size and everything in a nice widescreen format like I want here. Now I can drag the rest of them in here. Drag this one also. Okay, so I've got Jonathan here. And you see here, don't forget about this. This is my original Jonathan clip, but once I put it in the timeline over here, it creates this file that shows how I'm going to adjust that little video clip. So don't worry about that. All right, I'm going to drag these in here next to him for now. I gotta resize this. You can pinch resize with your fingers on your laptop here. Okay, bring in this last clip. So I've got 5 different people playing You'll Be in My Heart. So I'm going to zoom in here. What I'm going to do is take Delano. I'm going to drag his video up, his audio down. I can stack it on top of Jonathan here. Now, when I click over here, you'll see the 2 of them, since Delano is vertical video here. What do you call that? Portrait. You're going to see both of them together. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to this next one. There's another vertical person. I'm going to drag the video up and the audio down. Put her on top of there. Okay, next one. Video up even higher. Audio down. Now at some point you'll get... Oh, there we go. Okay. And stack that. I'll bring this last one, which is Sabrina, over here. And drag her up. Also, audio down. Now you get to some point here where there's not enough audio tracks. Again, if see this middle line right here, this middle line is between the videos, video 1, 2, 3, and so forth, and audio is 1, 2, 3, 4 down below. So I can move this up if I want to have more space to see audio, or I can drag it down kind of in the middle. Now, when you get, if I move my cursor below that middle line and scroll down, then I can just scroll just the audios up and down. So this one needs to go further down. But see this? There's only 4 audio tracks right now. I have to drag it extra far below here to make a 5th audio track. Okay. So and up here, again, if you go above the middle line with your cursor, you can scroll up and down on just the videos. I can drag this over by the audio or the video because they're connected right now. So, okay. Now Sabrina's here, you can see, is Heart 1 and Heart 2, so she went longer than everyone else. Now I'm going to use the audio here. I want to go ahead and Mix up a little higher so I can see all the audios. I'm gonna line these up using the audio. Okay, see how you can see here. I'm gonna zoom in. I pinch zooming. You see here how Sabrina's audio begins here. The next person's audio begins here, here, here. They just kind of end up that way. So I'm gonna go for this one over here, which is Jonathan, as it turns out. If I click, it highlights it. I'm gonna try to line everyone else's audio up with that. So I'm gonna drag Delano over. It's close. Now to get perfect, I'm gonna go like this. Up here, this is the play button, but here you can step forward or step back, just one tiny frame at a time. So so you can see he just needs to move over a tiny bit here to get the right amount. I'm gonna let's see, let me zoom in a little. Oh, that's right. This is really, really far away. You don't even see this cursor. When I click on the step forward frame, you don't even see the cursor move because it's so far away, hardly. So I'm going to go ahead and take Delano, and I'm going to drag his clip over to here. Same with Jonathan. And so that and I can zoom in now really close. And now I'll be able to see, if I click step over, you'll be able to see the cursor move each time. So I'm going to try that and drag to here. I'm going to click a few more frames over. When I drag, it'll snap to this little cursor line right there. And so you see now that's about perfect. And you see I had them all count right here. I had them all count 1, 2, 3, 4. If I solo these two tracks, you'll see now
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so I had them do that so I can really see I can line them up easily using that count off, or I can line them up with the first note that they play. So unsolo that. Okay, let's go to the next one up. Allison, which is the next one down on the audio. So there's Allison. So she didn't count the 1, 2, or maybe she did. Yeah, she did. Okay. So let's see. Zoom in. I'm gonna move her over to the cursor. Need to go a few more cursors over. Drag. She'll click into that. See, if I just try to drag her where at the right place, it's hard to, you can't see exactly where we're at, And so I like to set the cursor and then drag over to the cursor, and then it helps me line it up. So that looks pretty good right there. So this lines up good there. She's a little behind right there, but here she's quite a bit ahead. Okay, we can fix that though. We'll fix that in a minute. Okay, the next person. Cameron trombone. If I zoom out, you'll see, yep, he's way off here. I gotta move him over. And so, okay, that's too far that way. I'm gonna go and shorten this clip a little bit. Bring him over this way. Okay, we're close. And so I'm gonna click right about there, maybe over another 2 or 3 frames. Okay, click into there. There we go. All right, let's go to the next one. Sabrina. Okay, a little further over. Here we go. You see in Sabrina, we don't seem to have a count off. She didn't do the count off. She just started playing. And there, ooh, did I get lucky? I might have gotten lucky there. All right, I dragged her to the right place, except she's a little ahead there. All right, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to play right now. You'll hear the sound, just the raw sound. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clip. Sabrina starts to play the next part of Hearts. I'm just going to go ahead and clip right here. Command K. You highlight her track. Command K will trim it like that. Clip it into 2, so I can delete this part of her now. And I'll go ahead and do that with Cameron also. And Jonathan here. Command K. It's a great trick. Now, Allison right here, you see she ended her clip kind of early. Zoom in here. Yeah, she got ahead. We're going to have to move that. So I'm going to go in here like this. And what I'm going to do, go back just a few frames. I'm going to solo her so we can hear just her. So yeah, she's quite a bit early compared to everyone else. So I'm going to go over to the first part of her silence here, Command K. I'm going to go to the last part of her silence, right there, Command K. So I'm trimming that into a couple different clips. I'll go over here where I want her to be, drag that over to there. Okay, so now we have this gap. We have to fill in this gap with something. So let me move her a little further over. Just undo that just to give me some more space. I'm going to click on this. What we can do here is I'm going to right-click this and go to speed duration here, and that lets me adjust. Now, if we make this faster, it's going to make her clip shorter. It's going to go through it faster. So we want to elongate that clip. Probably I'm going to try 80. I'm going to try 75%. If I do that, and right here we're going to click maintain audio pitch. That way your pitch doesn't change as you slow it down. I'm going to slow down that track, and that wasn't quite far enough for me to go to here. So I'm going to right click in there again, and we're going to go down. Let's try 60. That goes. That's barely too far. I'm going to go back to here again. You can just keep changing this till it's right. It doesn't change the actual clip. It just changes a percentage of the clip. And so the original clip is still there in your hard drive. This just adjusts the clip, applies a change to the original clip. So I can redo this over and over, and it won't actually start getting weird. Okay, 66%. Let's try that. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna drag her over here, and now she starts here with everyone else, and this clip is gonna be a little slower than the rest. You shouldn't notice a difference in sound. Yeah, you'll see a little difference in her video. You might look like she slows down a little bit, but it's fine. I'd like to interject here for a moment and show you some really cool features that I've learned about since I recorded that original video. The first feature involves these arrow keys on your keyboard. You can actually, instead of going up here to click the next frame to step forward, you can actually use your right arrow key or your left arrow key to go side to side. And the up arrow key, let me zoom out a bit here. The up arrow key will actually bring you to the beginning of the nearest clip. So you can continue to go up and go to the edges of each clip, or down will bring you to the ends of each clip. Now, another really cool thing I can do with the arrows is hold down Command and then press an arrow key. That's on a MacBook or a Mac computer. On a PC, it will probably be Control arrow key. But if I hold down the Command and press the left arrow key, look what happens. The clip moves over. Ooh, that's awesome. So I can move the clip just one frame at a time using Command arrow keys to get them exactly where I want them. That saves a lot of time. Now here's a faster shortcut to what I did with Allison's clip a little while ago. I can Command K right there. You can see how she comes in early right there, so I can Command K there. Move this over. If I want it, I'll hold down Command, push the arrow keys. So let's say I want this to go over to here. Okay. Now what I can do is take this clip, and there's a cool feature over here. If I click on this tool here, I can select a different version of this tool that is called the rate stretch tool. See that right there, the rate stretch tool. And I go here and I can just drag this over, and it will automatically allow me to make this as long or as short as I want it by stretching the time on it or doing a time stretch. Okay, so if you use this rate stretch tool, the only thing is after you've done it, you're going to want to right click on the clip, go to speed and duration, and then you'll see here that it automatically made this 70.83%. So now you're going to want to click on maintain audio pitch so that the pitch doesn't suddenly go a lot lower or higher based on that percentage. So I'm going to click OK. So now we've done this in a fraction of the time it would take to try to figure it out yourself using just the speed and duration tool. Another cool feature in Adobe Premiere is that as you click on these different windows or different frames in your workstation, you can click on the top left key on your keyboard. It looks like this. You can click on that, and it'll bring it into full screen of just that one frame. And then you click it again to go back out. So you can go in here click that button, and you can really zoom and really see your video really up close. Okay, now this looks good here. This lines up pretty well there. Okay, still her clip ends earlier than everyone else, so yeah, her video ended. She trimmed her video so before the clip actually ended. So I'm gonna do another one of those things right here. Command K to make a separate clip. I'm gonna take this clip. Now you can't just drag it over. There's no clip left there. I'm gonna speed and duration. I'm gonna make that about 20. Okay, that wasn't quite enough. Let's go 15. Not close enough. Okay, let's go over here and drag her clip back to end there with everyone else. Now, why is her sound cut off there? I guess because she stops playing. Oh, it does something weird to her sound. I don't want that sound. Let me just make sure I had. Oh, didn't have maintain audio pitch. There we go. Okay, but it does kind of a funny little. Right back to the beginning. It does a funny little bubble right there. So I'm going to go ahead and fade her out right here. So let me do this. Let me show you how I'm going to go here to unlink. I'm just going to totally remove this audio here. When you unlink, that takes the video and the audio apart. So I'm going to just delete the audio there. Go right here. I'm going to kind of fade her out here. Is that last not long enough? Yeah. Let me go a little further over though here. Okay. So I'm going to go over here to the clip. Here it shows all the clips over here in this window. You only see the highlighted clip. Okay. So I'm going to go, if I scroll down here, you'll get to volume and level here. So I'm going to click this button, which will make a keyframe. Okay. Now the keyframe there is at 0, which is good. Now if I go over to the end of the clip, I drag that arrow over the end. I find it always brings me one past the clip, so I always go back one step to this point. Now I'm going to click here again to make another keyframe, but I'm going to change that keyframe to negative 200, which is almost no sound at all. So now we'll hear a nice fade of her sound at the end, so you don't get that weird click right there. Okay, so her sound fades out, but her video continues to the end, which we can't see her yet, but she's hitting her hands out. Okay, let me go over here and let's check some audio a little more. I'm going to just play. Oh, she's soloed. I'm going to unsolo her. And now you can hear my saxophone player here. He is not very good at tonguing, so he's going instead of da da. So what I'm going to do on him is I'm just going to make his sound a lot lower than everyone else. So I'm going to go here. Now if I click outside of his track, see here, you'll see up here the cursor is inside his track somewhere. If I change his volume here, it will likely add a keyframe and change his volume starting at this point. I want the whole track to be lower, so I'm just going to click outside of his track, see down here, and I can go and change his volume. I'm going to go negative 24. And okay, and I go back on here, and now we'll hear a lot less of him. His rhythm's a little bit off too, you can hear, so it's all a little sloppy, but I don't care. It's just going to be a nice little mashup here. I'm not going to try to get perfection here. Now, when it comes to adjusting your audio levels or your decibel levels, I want to point out that the softest adjustment you can make is negative 281, which is basically total silence. If you go beyond that, it will turn it into negative infinity, which is kind of the same thing, which is total silence. So you can go as soft as that. Full volume is 0 decibels. Now that seems weird, but 0 decibels is actually loud. It's the baseline level. And then the loudest adjustment you can make is plus 15 in Adobe Premiere. You can see on the decibel meter here that the very top is 0. But if a clip is very, very soft and you go plus 15, like at soft, it might be negative 30. So if you go plus 15, then it will bring it up significantly up into this range up here where it's yellow, where it's very loud. Okay, now you can see here the volume is peaking out a lot. Over here it's going in the red. A lot. So there's too much volume overall, so I got to make everyone a little bit softer. Jonathan seems to be fine. Now if I go into this zone of the audio track, I can do 2-finger scroll and it brings it down like this, makes it bigger. But he looks fine to me. We already brought Delano down. This person looks fine, not too loud. Who do we have here? Here we have someone who's pretty loud. That would be Cameron on the trombone. Okay, so I'm going to make him softer also, just a little softer so he doesn't help us peek out. I'm going to go outside of his track down here. I'm going to scroll down to the volumes on the very bottom here. And I'm going to go, let's go -8, probably would be about right for him. Okay. Alright, now we're not getting the red anymore. That's nice. Here's the loudest one. But this person down here is pretty loud also. Who's that? That's Sabrina on flute. We're going to just lower her a little bit too. Probably not so much. I'll go down to her negative. And now let's go -5 on her. Okay. Alright, the volume's good. We're getting a little yellow, which is perfect. I'm going to get to the top of the green, a little yellow. That clarinet though, the mixed clarinet's a little loud, so I'm going to go find the clarinet player, Allison. Okay, now here I've clipped her into 4 different tracks. Maybe I should have done the audio levels before I clipped any tracks, but so this is going to take a little more time. So I'm going to click on this one, and I just want her to be a little softer, -5 also. Okay, we click on this track. -5, remember how we had to stretch her. Click on this track. It's because she was playing earlier. -5. And this one. Oh, there is no volume there, that's right. This one has only video, no audio tracks, so there's no volume there. Okay, let's see if I like that better. Nice. Now the bass player is this contrabass, Jonathan, contra alto actually. He's also a little loud. I'm just going to touch him up a little bit and go -4. We should have a nice blend now. You know, I'm standing out too much. I like that blend. Okay, that's good. So let's say you want to do a crossfade. There's 2 ways to do that. One is to take this track here, and if you go up here into the effect controls, there's our decibel. Here's our decibel level right here. It's currently on -24 on this track, but I can click this little keyframe button there, or you can click over here on this little stopwatch looking thing. But right now I'm going to click on that and set a keyframe. Then I'm going to use my arrow keys to go over a ways to when the next little phrase begins, right about there. I'm going to click it again. Now I'm going to go negative. I'll just go -300. You'll see that'll bring it to -infinity there. And so what that means is between this keyframe and the next one, between these two, it's going to go from -24 to basically 0 sound. Okay, and you can see over here that it's created these little lines here on top of the audio waveform, and you can actually drag these if you want to up and down, but I'm going to leave them about there. So this will fade out at this point. See that? And then in this track, this other student here, I can do the same thing. I'm going to click right here, 0, a little keyframe, I mean, and then I can go over to here, click the keyframe there, make that -300. So now I have to go to the beginning of this track also and drag this down. Can I drag? I have to create a keyframe there, I think. I can drag that down all the way to 0 here. Okay, so this will essentially bring up the volume on this student and bring it down on that student at the same time so that they crossfade. Does that make sense? So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is I'm going to go Command K here. I'm going to delete this student at that point. And on the student above here, I'm going to Command K and delete the latter half of this track. So now I've got these next to each other like this, but I've got to drag this one up to there. Okay, so if the 2 tracks are on the same level here, now I can go up here to Effects. Okay, And over here under effects, I can go to audio transitions, crossfade. Now, constant gain and constant power, to me, there's not a big difference to me between those two. So I'm just going to use the default constant power. So I take this right here and I drag it over here on top of these two tracks, right in the middle of the two, release it, and then it creates an automatic crossfade for me between the first tune and the second. So this one will, during the course of this little box here, this track will go softer and this track will go louder at the same time. Now I can drag this crossfade box bigger to have the crossfade over a wider time frame, or I can make it smaller and crossfade really quickly between those two tracks. So let's have a listen now to just these two tracks. I've put a solo on both of them, and here we go. Nice crossfade between the saxophone and clarinet. So I've shown you how you can edit all of your audio using just Adobe Premiere. But if you want to have a little more power and be more precise in your audio work, then you can edit the audio separately first, and then align the videos and add that audio on top of those videos, eliminating the original audio connected to those videos. So let me show you how I do that now using Audacity to remove the audio from the original videos, and then GarageBand to do some really precise editing of that audio. So we're going to use Audacity, and we're also going to use GarageBand. I'm on a Mac here, so I can use GarageBand. It comes free with every Mac. Now, if you're on a PC, so you don't have access to GarageBand, you have to search for some other audio editing software. Audacity I'll discuss briefly, but not so much with how to edit multi-tracks. You'll want to look to edit multi-track recordings. And so Avid Pro Tools is highly recommended, but it's expensive. Audacity is free. In my experience, it's a little bit cumbersome to try to use to do multi-track editing. PreSonus Studio One is recommended here. You might want to look at this or for some other options. So I'm going to show you how to use Audacity now to remove the audio, just take the audio file or the audio portion out of an entire video. And it's very easy, except for first you have to go and download Audacity. It's a free download, but it's a little more complicated than that. You also have to download this FFmpeg. It's called the FFmpeg library. So you can search for installing FFmpeg for Mac, or in your case, it might be for PC, for Windows. But you're going to have to search for this and read the instructions. There are very detailed instructions for how to do it, but it is a little bit complicated. But you can download it and add it to Audacity. And once you've done that, then Audacity has this really cool ability to take any video file. Like I'm going to take, here's Allison's video file. I'm going to drag it on top of Audacity. And bam, it just brings her entire audio file right into it and just eliminates the video. So once you've done this, all you have to do now is click on export as MP3, choose where you want to export it to, and save. Another really helpful thing you can do with Audacity is you can change the intonation or the pitch of someone really easily and really well. So for example, I have this flute player here, and this happened to me in one of my videos. She played really fantastically, but the student was just really sharp all the way through. Like everything was probably like 20 or 30 cents sharp. And so in Audacity, you highlight by clicking and holding down and dragging like this across the waveform. So I'm gonna do this and just click delete. Now I can select a section of it, or I can go Command A to select all of it. So I'm going to select all of it like this. And then you go up to Effect and change pitch. Now there's lots of cool things you can do here. As you can see, you can change the speed or tempo, but I'm going to change pitch here. And when it first comes up, it should look like this. It'll say 0 here. It'll pick a key, and then you can go from this, like you can go from one key up a half step to A. You'll see that will change from G sharp to A. This will change it by 1/2 step. Or in this case, let's say she's sharp, so I need to go -0.3. let's say I want to go 30% of a half step, so negative 0.3. Now let me just play 0. Let me just click on a preview of what we have here. Okay, so I go negative 0.3 and preview that. So here it drops her pitch just a little bit. So I'm going to try that, and let's see if it's not enough, I can come back and do it some more. But I'm going to say that that's okay. So I click on that, and it changes the entire waveform to make everything slightly more flat. Okay, and then I can export that up here, export as an MP3, and then I can use that new audio file, and it'll be in tune. So I'm going to start a new project for GarageBand, and I'm just going to click on this empty project. Now there's different types of projects you can use here. If you want to add drums to your project, you can click on that. But I'm going to use this one right here, the microphone, to create an audio project. Create. I'm going to click here to eliminate that side panel. I don't need that. I previously removed the audio from Jonathan's video. I'm going to drag this into here. Okay, and here I'll just drag it all the way over like this. Now I need another audio file. Create. I'll get rid of that again. Okay, now I'm going to drag Allison's file in there. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out here. You can see Jonathan has a bunch of empty space at the beginning of his. So I just click on this, drag it over to about here. Okay, there we go. So let's zoom in a little bit here. You can pinch zoom in and out, just like in most programs. Okay, so I'm going to move Allison's file this way a bit. Zoom in here, and I'm going to just line this up and kind of do it like I did in Premiere before, but now I have a little more audio editing power. That's about right, but let me just zoom out a bit. Oh, but when we look here, we see, okay, now we really see the problem. So I'm going to earn the most important audio file right there. There you go. Okay, so now they start at about the same time. Let's have a listen. Oop, I'm going to turn off these two things right there, the metronome and so forth. Here we go. They sound nice. Now you can, at first they're perfectly in time. And you can see right here, the contralto clarinet plays ba, and she plays a little bit later there and really late there. So all these things you can fix in GarageBand pretty easily. So I'm going to zoom in here some more. Let's see, where does it first happen? First happens here. In Premiere, you use Command K to trim the clip here, and GarageBand, you use Command T. I always forget and make the mistake of doing that. Okay, I'm just going to go like this and drag this over to here. And drag this on top about like that. Okay, let's see what that does. Ah, that one place where I clipped and dragged it over fixed everything well enough to where it sounds pretty decent. Okay, now she's going to be ahead here though, as you can see. Okay, so right about in the middle of this emptiness, I'm going to go Command T again, and I'll drag this way. Okay, yeah, those line up well. And now what I can do is elongate this part of the clip. It doesn't change the time. You'll see if I keep going. Oop, see, there's the end of the sound of the phrase before, so I don't want to go that far, but I can just drag one way or the other to just fill out the space. Okay, so now we have her going here. Whoa, okay, now she goes here really early. Okay, yeah, some big problems here, but we can kind of fix this in here. Let's see. So I'm going to click here, Command T. And I'm just going to kind of average out what happens over here. And let's see if I just leave it like this. Let's see what it sounds like. Okay, I'm going to drag over further until these line up right there. Okay, and these line up pretty well there. I'm kind of averaging things out here. Now, we're going to have more than just these two people in this clip, so it's okay that there's some awkward silence there. but what I'm going to do anyway is just click here. Now over here, you can drag this left and right to change the volume of the entire clip. Okay, I'm going to go back to 0 here, approximately 0. There we go. But if you go up here to mix and click on show automation, then we can click here and add in Premiere, we call these keyframes. So I guess we call them keyframes here too, but we can click and just create these really easily just by clicking on the file. So I'm going to do that there, and I'm going to fade out here. So we're just going to have this kind of fade out quickly. Maybe I'll do it a little faster. We'll see. I'm going to have a fade out here, and then quickly fade back in when she comes in there. Let's see what that sounds like. Let's have this fade in here since she's really early on that note. Okay, let's just do that. So. Ooh, now the rest is perfect. Okay, the rest is really perfect from here on over. And so here she fades out, though. I'm going to have that fade happen a little bit more gradually, and that's all we can do. Now, I could do this. Let me just show you something a little bit radical here. I can go Command T. Okay, I'm going to add another audio track here. Okay, so I could go copy and go down here and paste and drag this over, and then go up here about there and go into this file. I have to highlight this track, sorry, and Command V to paste, and then I go down here and I go again, paste. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm creating a bunch of little versions. She plays such a short note there, but now what I can do is well, let me just leave this solid about there. Okay, let's see what this sounds like. I hear that. So it kind of goes blah, 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 but I can essentially elongate that pitch by doing that. In Premiere, I can take this clip and I can time stretch it and make it loud using that time stretch tool. I can drag it and make it longer and keep the same pitch. So I might do that. That would work better in Premiere. Here, GarageBand doesn't give me that feature. And again, I might, if let's say I want to keep some of her sound there, but I want to minimize that kind of funny sounds, that funny blah 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 things. I'm going to just bring everything a little bit lower here. Okay, let's see what that sounds like. Oh, nice. Now it's softer. You don't really notice it so much. And there'll be other people playing here. Yeah, it almost sounds like vibrato. Okay. I'm going to put the video in super fast speed while I talk about what I did here. I added an extra track, then I cut this clip and drag the clip down to the new track. Then I'm going to cut it again to bring the rest of it back up again. Now I can crossfade between the two different tracks. Yeah, so it sounds like she just took a breath right there, right? That's not too bad. Now I'm skipping to the end where I fix the ending here a little bit. Just move some things over and do the fade out. Now I can show you in a different project I did. This is a bunch of music teachers playing together, and you can see even though we were all of us teachers were near professional level musicians, when it came down to editing, I had to do lots of trimming, like here, lots of trimming to line up the parts to get them precisely in time. For instance, you can see these three parts right here. They're not even perfect right now, but I got them close enough. Down with there's some trombone parts down here, some trombone parts up here, and you can see I had to do a lot of little trims and dragging to get them to line up even this well. And it was a lot of time, a lot of work, but it really made it just sound so tight and beautiful and perfect. So once you've done your editing in GarageBand, you just go up here to Share, and you're going to Export Song to Disk. Once you click on that, then you can choose where to send it to. You can pick your folder here, give it a name, and click on Export, and you're done. So once you have exported the file from GarageBand, you've taken all these different audio tracks and put them into one audio track. And so you'll drag that into your Adobe Premiere. So once you have that single track that you've exported from GarageBand, you can mute all the other tracks like this, or you can take the one track you've brought in and put a solo on that one track, or you can unlink these videos from their audio track, and then you delete the audio from each of these videos you've done. Like Sabrina right there, I can unlink that, unlink, and then you can just delete the audio track part of it and clean this up and have just no audio down here except for the one new track that you brought in from GarageBand. So this is it for part 3. Look for my final part 4 video now on how to create a virtual band, in which we'll deal with more of the video editing aspects, including adding titles and graphics.